Hello, Chilliwack. My name is Emily Hamel, and you're watching chillTV. I'm here today with Bria Skonberg, and we are going to chat a little bit about her, career as a trumpeter and singer and musician extraordinaire. And she is from Chilliwack, so we're going to dive into that a little bit. So to start off, we are preparing for a sold-out show this Saturday at the Chilliwack Cultural Centre. Congratulations on that. Are you excited?
I'm very excited. There is nothing like playing for the home crowd. Yeah. In a way, I'm so comfortable, but I always get a little nervous, fluttery at the same time because even the Chilliwack Cultural Centre is one of the first places I performed when I was like 5 years old, 6 years old in these plays. So there's a lot of nostalgia wrapped up in it. The Centre has gone under different renovations over the years, and so have I.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we're super happy to have you back. I've got a couple Chilliwack themed questions to start off.
Great.
Everyone's favorite. What was it like going to high school here in Chilliwack?
High school is perfect.
Exactly.
No, honestly, I had a really good high school experience. Okay. I remember it that way because I was involved in so many different activities. Obviously the band program, which we'll talk about, but also sports. I played a lot of soccer and volleyball. Oh, nice. I was in leadership. I was on the student council. I was on a drama team. We did Destination Imagination workshop stuff. So I found my people definitely within the those walls. And then outside of class time, I had a part-time job at Dairy Queen.
Oh, okay.
I had a couple of dramatic love triangles, and I played in a ska band that would hang out and kind of get to processing the angst of the teenage years. So
of course.
I feel like it was a pretty complete experience, and I have no regrets.
No regrets. That's how you got to do it, right? Yeah. Very well-rounded.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, so a lot of artists or musicians, I think they have that like one person in their life early on, or a couple people who may have helped them go in the right direction when it came to like their career or their art. Is there one person from Chilliwack or a group of people that you sort of got that push or that inspiration from?
Sure. Yeah, there have definitely been some angels along the way that have shaped me to different spots, but specifically when I graduated from Chilliwack Senior, like I just said, I was involved in a lot of different things, a lot of arts-oriented things. I had, my academics were fine too, but I was kind of busy. I wasn't really thinking too far ahead about what I was going to do. But one of the counselors at the school named Shirley Dutton, she, set up a meeting and she said, you need to apply for music school.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's because of her that I tried out and eventually went to Capilano University and pursued jazz and pursued music as my degree.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Shirley.
Yeah, and there, certainly other teachers were pivotal. Rob Hopkins, Gary Radish ran the band program at Chilliwack Senior. Just in terms of not just what we did with the bands, but giving me recordings to listen to that inspired me. The music that we were asked to play. I mean, I think telling people now that I was playing Louis Armstrong transcriptions, note for note as a high school student still seems, odd or strange.
Cool.
Special. Yeah, it was fun. It was challenging, and I didn't think of it. But, you realize as time goes by how important those moments were and how they shaped you.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so you started off playing piano, and then you made the jump to trumpet. So why, and what was that like? And
So I started playing piano. I have an older brother who played fiddle, and my sister and I were both put in piano lessons, which was great. I highly recommend anybody with kids to play piano or guitar. Basically you can press one note and it sounds good.
Yes.
It's amazing. These days there's headphones, you don't even have to hear it. Just get familiar with the keyboard. And then I actually tried to play fiddle for a year out of sibling rivalry.
Of course.
And after some screechy turkey in the straw, that was no good. So then it was time to audition for the grade 7 bands or try out instruments, basically. And I was originally pegged to play trombone as a 6th grade kid. I don't know why, just good air support.
Yeah.
Long arms. But ultimately my dad said, you want to play the melody, play the trumpet. And we owned a trumpet, so I think that had more to do with it.
There you go.
So that trumpet, and I loved it because it had, I like the way that it looked, and you could just make a lot of funny sounds on it. The finger combinations were interesting to me, that sort of stuff. It just seemed to, we kind of had the same vibration.
Nice. The stars aligned.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So speaking of moving from one thing to another thing, you moved to New York. When did you move to New York?
2010.
Oh, wow.
And so, we'll start to do the math backwards. I graduated from Capilano University. I stayed in Vancouver for a few years, having different experiences, gigging around town, getting managing leading bands,
Yeah.
traveling around the world and figuring out where my next spot would be. And ultimately, New York is where I had some friends, and it seemed to be the biggest challenge.
Yeah, yeah. And that was right after the first album, though, right, too? So
Yep. 2009, I
That's
released an
awesome.
album. 2010, the winter was the Olympics in Vancouver,
Oh.
which was a really cool and also
Yeah.
informative time. I was performing with the King of Swing, Canada's King of Swing, Del Richards,
Oh,
big
okay.
band at the time,
Yeah.
and had a lot of really incredible experiences that felt like, okay, what's next?
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
New
and I
York?
knew- New York, it seemed daunting and it seemed challenging, and 13 years later, it's still challenging,
Yeah, yeah.
and that's why I love it.
That's awesome. Okay. Okay, so moving one thing to another, when you made the leap, when you went to New York, do you play there a lot? Or is that something you do more so on tour?
Yeah, it has changed. Different things have happened over the time. The first thing when I got there, I wasn't attached to any band. I
Right.
wasn't necessarily trying to do my own thing. So I just said yes
Yeah.
to everything. Everything. Everyone's like, hey, do you play, Jewish wedding music? I'm like,
Sure.
when's the gig? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you play Freddie Hubbard's Red Clay? When? In 3 weeks? You got it. No problem. And that's just it. The learning curve is so steep.
Uh-huh.
Not let alone kind of what are my coordinates and where do I go and what am I wearing? And it was really fun and exciting. And I ended up sinking into also a nice group of friends that played this traditional jazz repertoire.
Mm-hmm.
Funny enough, the stuff that I learned and fell in love with by playing jazz through Chilliwack Senior
Yeah.
ended up becoming a repertoire that I would draw upon for many years and
awesome.
use it as a chance to kind of get into certain musical circles.
Yeah. And do you still play in New York quite a lot?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the things that I do most often, I play in a band that focuses on the music of Louis Armstrong at a
Nice.
club called Birdland after Charlie
Ooh,
Parker.
okay.
Sometimes on Wednesdays. Right now, the bulk of my performance is touring, doing something performing arts centers like in Chilliwack, different places touring with either my own group or
Yeah.
I've gotten to play with some symphony orchestras now, different things. But I have I have a couple of kind of circles of friends that when I know that I'm in New York for an extended period of time, I'll say, what are you doing?
Yeah, for sure.
You're a trumpet player? Can I come by? And it's just fun. It's
awesome.
It's fun.
That's so cool. Okay. So after Chilliwack, you are going to Korea for a tour.
Yeah.
Is that going to be your first time overseas in Korea, or?
It's my first time
Awesome.
in Korea, which is why it'll be interesting.
Yeah. So how much preparation goes into going out on tour for that extended period of time, that far away from home?
We actually only have 4 gigs when we're there.
Oh, okay,
So
cool.
I'm only going for
Yeah.
about a week, and that's maybe a snapshot of what
Ah, yeah. Okay.
this is. You don't have a lot of time to
Yeah.
explore all. And I think those were booked a couple months ago, and right away it was work visas and
Yeah.
passports and consulates and getting the right documentation, and that is a big part of, let's say, what I get paid for. You used to think, I play music for fun, but it's like all of the work
Yeah.
that goes into this lifestyle that
Yeah.
adds up. But I'm very excited. I've never been there before. I'm gonna eat some new things.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
meet some new people.
That's awesome.
And I'll be bringing my quartet, which is, a couple of the guys that are here in Chilliwack this week will
Yeah.
be going next month.
That's awesome.
And that's it. And when I go to a place like that, I try to, figure out what things we have in common. Generally learn how to say hello, thank you, and cheers.
Yes.
And maybe there's a traditional song of them that I
Oh,
could
yeah.
learn and try to jazz up.
That's pretty cool.
Those are some of the things I'm thinking about right now.
Ooh, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I can't wait to see how that turns out.
Me too.
Okay, so let's chat a little bit about your music in particular. So Fresh was your first album, 2009, and you do a lot of covers. I've been listening to your music to sort of prepare for the interview, and I love the spin that you have on a lot of those old classics and a lot of the modern music that you put a jazz spin on. But there are some songs that you've written now yourself. So what is that like to write? Is it easy? Is it hard? What's your take on that?
So at first, when that album came out, and I should share that, at that time I also had a couple of bands I was playing with. One of the bands known as the Big Bang Jazz Band came out of Chilliwack Senior, and I had an all-female jazz band called the Mighty Aphrodite Jazz Band.
I love it.
So I did a lot of recording with those groups before then, playing old jazz stuff. But the Fresh was the first album where, like you said, I was like, okay, I'm going to what is my sound? What is my voice? I've got some old songs that make them sound new. I'll take some newish songs, make them sound old, and then I'll write some material. And that was a slow process for me, certainly because you have to be pretty vulnerable and strong at the same time to put out your stories.
For
your
sure.
Stories.
Yeah.
And the person that helped me through that process, his name is Paul Airy. He was a music production guy in Vancouver. Just an incredible mentor of mine through that process. So my way to write music is, honestly, I just try to clear space, mental, physical space, and sit at a piano.
Nice.
My first instrument.
There you go. Back to the piano.
Yeah. And just kind of dabble, tinkle, close my eyes, and see what needs to come out.
Yeah.
Because I think that the music that resonates the most with me and has resonated the most with other people are the ones that, come from a really authentic, deep place. And that is the process to get to it. I mean, I could write you a song without even thinking about it. I could write down chord changes and melodies and stuff that, like a formula that I know that will work.
Right.
But for song that speaks to the story and what I'm going through, that's my preferred way to do it.
I especially the Chilliwack cheer.
Yeah, well,
obviously.
I can't take full credit for that one.
Yeah. It's a fun one.
But I did put to some chords.
It's a fun one.
Chilly.
Whack, whack, whack.
Yes.
Yes. I'm hoping you'll play that on Saturday. Yeah, maybe. We'll see. Okay, so Bria is the name of your 2016 album, Sony Records. So jumping from a smaller studio to a big studio, what was it like jumping over and working with Sony?
It's all been a long process.
Yeah.
Let alone the first album I recorded with the band, it's not the Big Bang Jazz Band, was recorded in my parents' living room.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
Colin Forty Parker, who we
Yay.
celebrated back last May, he set up all the sound gear. So I've been through the whole rainbow of home studios, mid-range. And it was great. The key person on that was a producer named Matt Pearson. He's, again, somebody who has helped me, I guess, refine my ideas.
Yeah.
Even coming to Chilliwack, it felt the same with trumpet. I have a lot of ideas, and there's a lot of raw material that I put out. And as I go through life and know the New York experience and work with producers, it's about refining it.
Yeah.
So Matt's been good for that, and I feel like that album, we called it Bria, was the first time where I was like, okay, this is a sound that is my voice yet again solidified.
And you won a Juno for it.
Then we got a Juno.
What was that like, winning the Juno?
So weird.
Yeah.
That's about as weird as, I don't know, how can you imagine? We
Yeah.
sit in this big room, and what was beautiful is that my parents were there.
That's so awesome.
And my now husband.
Yeah.
The whole team. And it took so long, and it took so much work to get there. And I hope, or at least if I remember correctly, I made sure to thank my high school band teachers in that, and all the teachers in Chilliwack for that moment, because it's definitely cumulative.
For sure.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on that.
Yeah, and things like that. When awards come, I feel like I never want to. You don't feel like you've arrived. It's just encouragement. It's really encouraging because it just says, okay, you're on the right path, or the things that you've done are being recognized. But you can never make a record thinking this is going to be the Juno, or this is going to be the Grammy Award-winning one. I think that's a backward process.
Yeah.
You start with the process, like the finding the music that resonates.
Yeah.
And then those other things, will maybe come.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. All right. Is there a new album in the works? Can you tell us? And when might we see it?
I have recorded, yes.
Oh, very
I have recorded
exciting.
an album. You'll be hearing some of that music on Saturday night at the Chilliwack Cultural Centre. Yes. I mean, needless to say, the last few years have been extremely disorienting. And on top of that, I became a mother in 2020. So there's been a lot of life experience bubbling around. And this album is special to me because it enabled me to kind of find my footing again, get grounded. And for that, I went to New Orleans. I actually recorded it in New Orleans, the birthplace, one of the, of jazz, place that resonates with me. Pulled together some locals down there to work on material that speaks to these different life experiences to date. So that album was recorded. It will come out, knock on wood, next spring.
Awesome. That's very exciting.
So you'll get a snapshot of that at the concert.
Nice.
or anytime I see you between now and then.
Yes.
Working at some of that stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Well, can't wait.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love the New Orleans sound too. Yeah. That must have been
Yeah.
really cool to work there.
It's earthy.
Yeah.
It's earthy. The drummer's named Herlin Riley. I won't get too nerdy on
Okay.
that.
All right.
It's good. You'll hear it.
Well, okay. Speaking of influences like New Orleans, who are your biggest musical influences? You talked about a couple different ones, but yeah.
Yeah, I often cite Louis Armstrong because I'm an innovator of the style, a master of the instrument, a communicator in great ways, and really an incredible human being.
Yeah.
He and his last wife, Lucille, they lived in Queens in New York City.
Okay, yeah.
So I have a good relationship. They've turned the house into a museum and an education center. So actually, I spent a lot of time working there.
That's so cool.
Working with everybody from students to, tour groups and stuff. So just for those people, I love musicians that are more than just virtuosos.
Yes.
That they're good people too. Yeah, on the vocal tracks, Ella Fitzgerald was early on. Anita O'Day was somebody I was inspired by.
I'll have to look into her.
And then also, I grew up in what was my Chilliwack High School experience. It's like, no doubt, and Gwen Stefani,
Obviously. Yeah.
pop music, rock music. I love all kinds of music.
Yeah.
I listen to, Eastern European Balkan brass bands.
Yeah.
That's exciting to me. Today was listening to Tito Puente, salsa god.
Nice, yeah.
So I just, try to listen to as much music as possible.
Yeah, definitely listening to your albums over the last couple of days, like trying to prepare to meet you and everything. I've noticed your eclectic sound is just really interesting. There's always a new spin, and I can hear a lot of different things in there. It's really cool. So,
yeah, I like to explore a lot, and then I think there's albums like this next one where it finally kind of simmers together and something really cool again.
Awesome, can't wait. All right, very last question for the audience at chillTV. Can you share something about yourself that no one else knows? It's a good one.
No one else knows.
No one else.
Okay, maybe then no one else knows.
Or that not many people know. These are always fun ones.
Well, it's funny. I was thinking this is not something that no one else knows, but like a fun fact when I was reflecting on coming to Chilliwack TV is that this is not my first time. When I was in school, I was for a while I was a co-anchor on a local television show, which I haven't seen the footage of. If anybody can find it. No, scratch that.
No.
No regrets. I was like the co-anchor / gopher for Barry Douglas on a show called The Bear on Sports.
Okay.
And I remember interviewing or like going to different spots around the city and interviewing, even when the BC Lions had tryouts or something.
Right.
So that was one thing that I don't know if nobody, certainly.
We do now.
Yeah, now. Nobody remembers. If you knew it, you'd hardly remember. I don't know anybody else that would remember that except maybe me and Barry. So maybe we can dig that up.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for chatting with me.
Yeah.
Had a really great time getting to know you. I can't wait for your concert on Saturday. And I guess that's everything we've got to do for now. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. And it's funny, as I just reflect, there are 2 more teachers I got to remember.
Oh, yes.
Steve Anderson, Mr. A, you were the best, and Raj Tour, rest in peace. Those were the teachers that made me think about how to really dream big.
Yeah.
And also how to keep it local too.
That's awesome. Well, with that, dream big, keep it local, and thank you so much for watching Chill TV. Everybody.
Bye.